I can never be lonely. If you put your hand in mine, I can never be lonely.
Hello everyone, I'm Sebastian.
And I'm Evie.
And today we're gonna talk about
Rome Travel Guide.
And this travel guide is gonna be based on our experience back in Rome. If you're interested in a travel guide that you can download and have it with you, or maybe print out and have it with you while you're in Rome, you should check out the link down below for a Rome travel guide.
Let's do this.
Before we start the first part of this travel guide, just remember that Rome is in Italy, which means we have the currency of euro. So the part one is where to stay.
So we recommend 3 places to stay. The first one is around the Vatican. We basically stayed there and it was very safe district and it was near everything we want to see. We were about 3 kilometers away from the farthest place, which is Colosseum. The second place is Trastevere.
And this place is actually very mainstream right now. It's talked about a lot and it's up and coming place. It is very recommended by many people, so that's why we also recommend you see it, and I think it was one of the places that felt really safe too.
If you really like going out in the night, it's a perfect place for you because there are many restaurants and bars which have a very cool vibe.
So if you're looking for that kind of feel and maybe some nightlife, that is the place to go.
But during the daytime, it's very silent district. And the third place to stay is of course city center.
It's very close to pretty much everything, so because of that, it's first off gonna be close to everything. Second off, should be very safe. As always, usually the city center is one of the safer places. And I think the main thing is you're gonna be close to everything. So everything is gonna be within a couple of minutes from you.
So it's basically up to you which place will you choose, but we recommend to stay around these 3 places.
So let's move on to part 2. The logistics and transportation. So how do you get from the Ciampiano airport to Rome city center? And it's actually pretty easy. You can always take the taxi, but I think what we did was very, not only fast, really efficient and cheap. Basically, you can buy a ticket at the airport, go into the 520 bus. From there, you will head to the Cinecittà metro station. From there, when you get down, you'll get into the Mea metro. Basically, it just means in which direction it's going. So the Mea metro in direction of Battistini. From there, you'll head to Rome Termini, basically the main terminal in Rome. And from there, you can either go farther with the same metro or maybe have a different connection depending on which part of the city you're in.
We think that Google Maps works really well in Italy, in Rome particularly, and you can just check everything there and everything is clear and transparent to see.
And for us, that was the case. We actually used Google Maps and it was very good, both with times, how to get everything. Basically just follow it and you will get there safely. And one more thing is the ticket is both for the bus and the metro. So basically once you pay at the airport, you have the ticket that you will have for the duration of that trip.
So taking into consideration that you are staying in the places that we recommended in the first part, everything is walking distance away. But if you prefer other methods of transportation, you can take metro. Metro is very convenient and easy, and practically metro will take you anywhere you want.
And it's cheap and reliable.
And if you are wondering how long to stay in Rome, we recommend to stay about 4 to 7 days. We stayed there 7 days. However, if the trip was a little bit shorter, then it'd still be fine.
And last but not least is the weather. Basically, weather in Rome is pretty much good all year round. People actually go there the whole year. There's never an off season. Rome is always in the season and it's just gonna look slightly different. We were actually in February and it felt like a very warm spring.
But mornings are cold.
Yeah, so take that in consideration. Depending on when you're coming, it could be different. Check the weather beforehand, but remember it's in the Mediterranean region, so it's gonna be pretty much hotter than the rest of Europe.
But additionally, take into your mind that in February, we were in February, there were less tourists, I think.
Yeah, probably less tourists than it would be like summer months especially.
But still, Rome is some kind of city that is always very touristic, so... But it was less tourist.
Yeah, take in consideration, but remember there's still gonna be people. So let's start with the part 3. Basically, what do you have to see in Rome?
So the most important part, I think.
That's why you would come to Rome.
So the first day we recommend to see Colosseum. Colosseum, I think that we all know what is Colosseum in Rome. It's a very popular place.
And everyone that goes to Rome probably has it a number 1 spot. Colosseum. Basically, if it was modern, it would be called a stadium, but it's basically a huge stand and where the people would gather to see the sporting events and killing events in that regard.
And we recommend to buy tickets online because you don't have to wait in the very long line to get those tickets. If you have tickets that you bought online, you just go to the window and they print out the tickets.
One thing about the online tickets, you can get different tickets. For example, we had a limited edition tickets.
We had a ticket in which we could visit the undergrounds of the Colosseum as well as the middle level.
And in the ticket you also get the normal ticket, which means you get to go around the Colosseum, the museum, everything that is there. That means that you actually go on the place where the gladiators would fight and where the gladiators would be before the fights, meaning the underground. And in the normal ticket you only go into the stands and see it from like the stands and the museum part of it. But that ticket that we had gives you extra different places, which is very cool. So, like you said, highly recommend going online and checking out the tickets. Across from Colosseum, you will see a huge gate and the Palatine Hill, or the Roman Forum. Basically, this is a place where the Caesares of Rome or any other very powerful people in that time period would go, live, pretty much talk about like business. Everything that was important for that time period happened there. And there's a lot ancient ruins in that place.
Like this is the whole park with all monuments and stuff.
And it's very cool because you go through the Roman Forum, over the Roman Forum, because you have like those viewpoints that are very high. It's very cool, very different pathways to go around it. And there's a lot of things that are still standing there today. For example, for us, that was day 1 of Rome, basically the Colosseum and the Roman Forum. But there is one more place that is very close to those 2 places, which is the Circus Maximus,
which you could see from the Pantheon Hill.
And today it's more of an open park than actual monuments. You can go there pretty much with no tickets, nothing. People jog there, walk their dogs. It's pretty much like an open park today. But it's very close, so if you have 3 extra minutes, you can always visit the Circus Maximus.
Those 3 places that we already mentioned, it was a day 1 for us. However, Colosseum and Palatine Hill and Roman Forum are so big that you could split it into the 2 days, separate 2 days.
We didn't expect it to be this big. So the second day for us was much easier.
We were getting lost in the Trastevere.
We got to the viewpoint, and then from there we headed through pretty much Trastevere. But we had one extra place that we wanted to see during that day, which was
the keyhole.
In the place that is actually not Rome, is actually a sovereign nation, and that is the Knights of Malta. There is a very spectacular keyhole that you can take a photo from.
So if you are looking through this keyhole, you see 3 different nations.
Because you'll have the Knights of Malta, you will have Rome, because you will see Trastevere, and Vatican City. And we highly recommend you see it if you're there.
And sometimes you have to wait in the line to it.
Because even though it's maybe not very popular, it's not something well known, it's still known enough that if a couple people come and there's a single keyhole like this and you want to see it, if there's like 10 people, there's gonna be 10 people in the line to see that little keyhole. But it's very cool and it's a kind of like a hidden gem, but it's very cool. And that 2 things were pretty much our day 2 in Rome. So the next day was more in the park, which is the Villa Borghese, but more specifically in the Bioparco.
Bioparco is the zoo in Rome.
And it's in the middle of modernization. You can see that some of the enclosures are a little bit older, but you can also see that many of them are either new or are in the middle of being created. It's much bigger than we expected because it's in Villa Borghese, and we thought that if it's a zoo in the villa, which is a big park, then how big can the zoo be? And it turns out it can be very big. We still recommend visiting the Villa Borghese. It's a very big park in Rome, a lot of green spaces, and there are very beautiful places in it. Smaller parks where they're actually throwing bubbles, so the kids are running around, like all those different things that you could see in the Villa Borghese, and also some like ancient ruins, while there's some new buildings and restaurants.
So right next to Villa Borghese is Piazza del Popolo, in which there is a great and huge monument, and it's very good to visit this place.
And from Villa Borghese there's actually a nice viewpoint that you can see from over the plaza, and also a very beautiful pretty much viewpoint for the Vatican City.
So the next day is of course the Vatican. We step out from the Rome and Italy, we go to the Vatican.
You just have to actually cross the road, but you're in a different nation.
So basically you can of course buy the tickets to visit the museums, including Sistine Chapel. However, you have also things for free, like the St. Peter Basilica.
It's the biggest basilica in the world.
This is very iconic, I think. All the paintings, all the mosaics are beautiful, they are astonishing.
And there's many beautiful sculptures, and the paintings on the ceiling and everything is pretty much ginormous. Not only is it huge, but there's also a very cool viewpoint in terms of going up the dome.
But you have to buy the tickets. You can either take an elevator or take the steps.
Anyway, you will have to pay, but the steps are gonna be the cheaper option. And it's going up and up and up until you get to the dome.
But the view is totally worth to visit. You have this iconic view of the plaza, which is in front of the basilica, and this is like every picture from Vatican that you see, it's from this place.
And also from the dome you have a beautiful 360-degree view towards the Hall of the Vatican, towards the rest of the basilica like you said, or the farther, if you look farther, there is the rest of Rome. It's a very good viewpoint in our opinion.
And one fun fact, at the roof of the basilica there is a letterbox.
And you can send like a postcard or a letter from there.
Remember that to get to the basilica and all the museums, you have to cross the gates. These are the security gates, just like in the airport. And sometimes there is a huge line that you have to wait in it.
And even though it's free, you might have to spend a little bit of time in that line. But it was actually very quick. We didn't have to spend too much time. It was moving very quickly.
And another day in Rome you should spend strictly in the city center.
And the first place we recommend is waking up early and visiting the Trevi fountain. Basically, if you wake up earlier, you can actually see the Trevi fountain as it should be seen, which is not with crowds and with everything being open. It's a very beautiful sight to see. But we could recommend seeing it 3 times or at least 2 times in the day. During the morning when it's pretty empty, like we did, or during the day when it's a little bit more crowded. But we highly recommend you actually see it during the night because it's very beautifully lit up.
And we totally recommend you to wake up early to take some beautiful pictures.
And from Trevi Fountain, we highly recommend you visit
Pantheon.
It's very close to the Trevi Fountain, so like you said, it is everything in the city center.
It's basically a church and museum in one. However, the one thing that is very cool there and unique is the hole in the roof, in the ceiling.
Basically, this temple has a big open space in the roof. Because of that, it can actually rain inside, or if it's a sunny day, you'll see the sunshine going through.
And next to the Pantheon is very known Piazza Navona. You can also find there a fountain, like the fountains in the rest of the Rome, because Rome is filled with the fountains, however they are all beautiful.
And there's actually 2 more fountains in Piazza Navona, basically on the other end of the piazza, because it's a very long and skinny kind of piazza. Basically there's one huge in the middle and 2 smaller at the sides. And one fun fact, Piazza Navona in like the ancient times was actually like a stadium. Basically, I think the chariots or the horses were running around, and today it's more of like a plaza. And next up we have Altare della Patria.
This building is very close to the Colosseum and the Roman Forum, and it's very worth to visit as it's huge. It's, I think, the biggest building I have ever seen.
Literally one of the biggest buildings in terms of like the sheer size and weight of the building. Like you said in the video that we did, it actually looks like it's made for giants.
And you can find there in the higher level the restaurants, and also you can buy the tickets and go to the highest point just to have a beautiful panoramic view over the Colosseum, Roman Forum,
and the rest of the Rome city.
Also, one fun fact, that guards there don't allow you to sit on the stairs. They are just whistling at you. It's kind of funny. And finally we have a Spanish steps. It's also very iconic in Rome.
Basically they're very big, very good looking, and very tall steps. Very close to the Trevi fountain and Villa Borghese. And we highly recommend, if you want, you should visit them earlier too.
Because it's a very crowded place, not only by tourists but also by the locals. They just spend time there. However, also there are guards which are whistling at you, so you can sit there also.
But like you said, if you want to take cool pictures, you should be there earlier.
And finally, last but not least, is of course the food, the most important of every trip. And here we have the Italian food, so it's the cherry at the top of our trip.
The best food you can get.
Yes, pastas, pizzas, all we love.
So a couple things that we recommend if you're in Rome that you should try.
First one is very unique thing, not ordinary, and it's called
Suppli.
And it's basically a small bowl which is filled with the cheese, like mozzarella, tomato sauce, some meat and some rice. And it tastes so good.
Basically, from the outside is like a crust, like it's a ball of crust, and everything you mentioned is inside that ball.
It's quite cheap because it costs, I think, less than 2 euros. However, it's totally worth to try it because it's not an ordinary thing that you meet in other places.
And it's something not only unique, but very, very good. Something very tasty that we could probably sit there and eat much more of. They're so amazing.
Yes.
And something I didn't even know about before our Roman trip.
Yeah, and that's why it makes it even more unique and good.
And the place that we recommend is in the Trastevere district. Basically, it's called Suppli Roma. And if you search it on Google, it should come up. It's one of the highest rated places in Rome in terms of suppli, and we highly recommend it. Next up on our list is the Gelato, the ice cream of Rome. And the place that we ate the gelato in is called Gelateria del Viale.
And we recommend it because you have the delicious tastes of the ice creams, and additionally you can have a cone in which the top is filled with the chocolate and nuts. Yeah, and it's very tasty.
And you don't pay for the ice cream separately, depending on which cone you take. That's how many ice creams you will have.
But as we all know, Italy is also very known from the gelato, so I think that you will find very good gelatos in every corner of the Rome.
But we highly recommend that place because we actually tried it and it was very good. And the next thing we recommend is pizza. Something you have to eat if you're ever in Rome. We guess that anywhere you would take pizza it would be good, but we highly recommend traditional Roman pizza in the place called Pinza and Po. It's a smaller kind of pizza, but it's very traditional, it's very good tasting. And because the pizza was kind of smaller, we would usually take like 2 or 3 and then split it so that we get different tastes, but they're so good.
Additionally, one taste that you should try is like typical Italian or Roman taste, and it is called the amatriciana pizza, and it's very unique and good. And Italy is also known from the pasta, and we have different pastas that have to be tried, like the spaghetti, like carbonara, and as I mentioned before, amatriciana. They are all so good, and if you are a pasta lover, then Italy is place for you.
We highly recommend the place that we tried, which is by Circus Maximus. It's called V and Me, and it was very good pasta there, very traditional Roman pasta. But also we tried very close to the Vatican City, a smaller takeaway kind of place. It was called Pasta Ciuta, and it was very good. So that's gonna be it for today, but before we end this video, a couple things that we wanted to mention very quickly. First off, if you like the music in this video or in any other of our work, check out the links down below. If you choose to sign up through the link to the epidemic, you'll get 30 days free. And if you choose to sign up for Artlist, you'll get 2 months extra for free. Second off, if you'd like to support our channel, check out our website and our Patreon. If you choose to become our Patreon, there are things coming back your way because we send out monthly postcards from the places that we visit. And last but not least, if you want to join our travel community, check out Travel the World. It's a Facebook travel community. If you're into that kind of stuff, check it out. It's gonna be a link down below. So that's gonna be it for today. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like,
Comment
and subscribe. We hope you guys enjoyed this video once again, and I will see you next time.